I wasn't expecting anything out of the ordinary that Saturday afternoon. The sun was gentle, filtering through the windows of the little shopping district I liked, the one with the cozy cafes and the boutique stores that smelled faintly of vanilla and lavender. I had a mission: find the perfect gift for my best friend's birthday. Simple, right? Except that I have a habit of overthinking everything. I wandered through store after store, running my fingers over scarves, mugs, and delicate jewelry. Nothing felt right. I even tried to imagine my friend's reaction, smile, surprise, laughter, but the spark just wasn't there. It was like every item whispered, "Not me. Not this time." And then I saw her. She wasn't part of my plan. She was standing by the window display, sunlight catching her hair in a way that made it glow. She had this serene sort of confidence, like she belonged to a world where chaos couldn't reach her. Her laughter, soft but vibrant, drifted across the aisle, and I swear, my heart skipped a beat. I tried to focus on my shopping list, I really did. But curiosity got the better of me. I found myself inching closer, pretending to look at a shelf of candles while stealing glances at her. She picked up a small trinket, examining it thoughtfully, and then, just like that, her eyes met mine. For a brief second, the world around me seemed to blur. It was impossible not to feel something. Something about her felt familiar, like a memory I'd forgotten or a dream I'd once had. I shook my head, laughing quietly at myself. Focus, I told myself. You're here for a gift, not a distraction. But deep down, I knew distraction was exactly what this was. And so, what started as a simple shopping trip slowly began to feel like the beginning of something entirely unexpected. I told myself to calm down and focus on my mission, find the gift, check it off, leave. But fate, apparently, had other plans. I ended up in the same aisle as her, completely by accident, of course. I pretended to inspect some scented candles, but I couldn't help noticing the way she moved, graceful, unhurried, completely in her element. And then, she glanced up at me again. That soft, knowing smile. "Excuse me," she said, her voice smooth like silk. "Do you know if these candles come in lavender?" I can't seem to find the label. I blinked. Me? Talking to her? My throat felt dry, my brain suddenly forgetful of basic words. I think they do," I managed, pointing to the back shelf. "Maybe over there?" She nodded, her smile widening slightly, and I felt a flutter I hadn't expected. "Thank you," she said. Simple, polite. But there was something more. Something that made my stomach twist in the best way possible. And, just like that, a conversation began. Not long, not grand, but enough. We talked about scents, lavender, vanilla, cinnamon, about little things that made no sense to anyone else, but somehow made everything feel right. She laughed at one of my jokes, the kind of laugh that lingers in your chest, and I caught myself grinning like an idiot. I realized I wasn't thinking about the gift anymore. My list, my plans, my purpose. They all faded to background noise. All I wanted was to know more about her, about the way she saw the world, about why something as small as a candle could suddenly feel so significant. Time seemed to stretch and contract at the same moment, and when the conversation ended, I felt a strange pang of disappointment. Like the universe had paused for a moment, and I hadn't been ready. And yet, as I walked away, I couldn't shake the feeling that this encounter, this tiny, fleeting exchange, wasn't the end. Not even close. I tried to convince myself it was just a fleeting moment, a small brush with someone intriguing that would dissolve into memory as soon as I left the store. But every step I took away from her felt heavier than the last. By the time I reached the checkout, my mind wasn't on the gift at all. It was on her. Her laugh, the way her eyes crinkled when she smiled, the casual tilt of her head as she examined that candle. Every detail replayed itself in my mind like a favorite song. I debated. Should I leave? Should I just pretend it never happened? But there was a pull, undeniable and magnetic. It was like the universe was nudging me, saying, "You'll regret it if you don't." I turned back, scanning the aisle. She was still there, her attention focused on a display of hand-painted mugs. I took a deep breath, and something silly and brave bubbled up inside me. "Hey," I said, my voice a little shaky but determined. I know this is random, but would you like to grab a coffee? Nearby?" Her eyes widened, just slightly, and then she smiled, that same smile that had thrown my entire day into chaos. "I'd like that," she said simply. We stepped out of the store and into the sunlight, a little awkward, a little thrilled. We walked to a tiny cafe just around the corner, the kind that smelled of fresh pastries and roasted coffee beans. Conversation came easily, sliding between small talk and confessions, laughter and quiet moments. I discovered her name, Amelia, and that she loved bookstores, rainy days, and caramel lattes. I shared my quirks, my love for long walks, my tendency to overthink everything. Somehow, within the span of 1 hour, a simple shopping trip had transformed into something I didn't even have words for yet. It wasn't just attraction. It wasn't just curiosity. It felt like possibility. And as we sat there, sipping coffee, watching people pass by outside, I realized that sometimes the universe doesn't give you what you're looking for. It gives you something better. Sitting across from her, I felt a strange combination of calm and electricity. It wasn't just that she was beautiful, though, of course. It was something deeper. The way she listened, really listened, to every little thing I said, made me feel seen in a way I hadn't felt in a long time. We talked about everything and nothing, our favorite childhood memories, the songs that made us cry, the tiny dreams we hadn't shared with anyone else. Her hand brushed against mine once. Completely accidental, I think, and I felt a jolt, like static running straight to my heart. I pulled back, flustered, but she just smiled, that quiet, knowing smile that seemed to say, "It's okay." I felt it too. I laughed nervously, trying to shake it off, but my mind was spinning. Why did this feel so effortless? So natural? So right? I had gone out shopping for a gift, and somehow, I'd stumbled into a gift for myself, someone who made the world feel softer, brighter, somehow more alive. She told me about her favorite cafe down the street, the one with the mismatched chairs and the old jazz records playing in the corner. I told her about the bookstore where I spent hours just flipping through pages, pretending I was a character in someone else's story. Every shared secret, every little smile, seemed to weave an invisible thread between us, pulling us closer without either of us realizing it. Time seemed to bend around us. Hours passed like minutes. The sun dipped lower in the sky, painting everything in golden light. And I knew, with a certainty that made my chest ache, that this connection, this feeling wasn't just a fleeting moment. It was something I didn't want to let go. And in that quiet, magical space, I realized that maybe the universe didn't just nudge you toward love. Sometimes, it pushes you headfirst into it, whether you're ready or not. By the time we left the cafe, the sky had turned shades of pink and orange, the kind of colors that made everything feel like it belonged in a dream. I realized I hadn't thought about the gift I came to buy once, not even for a second. It didn't matter anymore. Amelia and I walked slowly, shoulders brushing, laughing at nothing and everything. There was a comfort in the silence too, a quiet understanding that didn't need words. Somehow, in just a few hours, the world had shifted for me, and she was at the center of it. We stopped at a small park, the benches bathed in the last golden light. I felt nervous, my hands fidgeting with the strap of my bag. I didn't want the moment to end. Not now. Not ever. You know, I began, my voice a little shaky. I came out shopping for a gift today. I laughed softly, shaking my head. And instead, I found you. She looked at me, eyes wide, lips curving into that gentle, heart-stopping smile. I guess that's the best kind of gift, isn't it? Her words made something inside me flutter, a warmth spreading from my chest to my fingertips. Without thinking, I reached out, brushing a strand of hair from her face. She leaned into my hand, and for a moment, the world felt still. I don't want to forget this, I whispered. I don't want to forget. You. You won't, she said softly. Not me. Not today. And then, as if the universe had orchestrated this perfect moment just for us, she leaned closer, and our lips met in a tentative, tender kiss. It wasn't rushed or forced. It was the kind of kiss that feels like coming home, like every wrong turn had somehow led to exactly the right place. I realized right then that some gifts can't be wrapped. Some gifts can't be planned or bought. Some gifts you just find when you least expect them. And that day, in that little shopping district, I found mine.